Hello, listeners. Hello, viewers, to another magnificent episode of the Talking Parra podcast. Episode number 27, I think it is, but it is preliminary finals weekend. And yes, it's Parramatta versus the Cowboys at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. We've got on the panel tonight, we've got Matty Tate from Tate Sports Cards. We've got our gracious host, Adam Martin. We've got Eels mask wearing Hayden from the Entertain House. That probably looks pretty good on you, Hayden, actually. And I've got myself, Troy, from the Parra Cave podcast. We're going to talk about the Eels versus Raiders game. We're going to talk about the Cowboys and Eels upcoming preliminary final. Adam's going to have a special announcement about something that's happening up in Townsville as well. So I'll just hand it over to you, Adam. Over to you, mate.
Thanks, Troy. I didn't know Rey Mysterio was joining us, but he's chucked that on during our countdown. Here we are. We have him. So why Dominic? Why? Anyway, let's move on. Look, we're deep into overtime, aren't we? We're here. We're back for another week, another podcast. Every podcast could be our last. We feel the stress and we feel the pressure as well. So
we haven't felt like this for 10 years, 13 years.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And did we have internet back then? Yeah, we did. No, 2009 we had internet. I was still in school. Troy, what were you, 42 back then?
Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah. So, back when you're a young boy. So I said it's obviously good to still be going. Obviously, me and Hayden are pretty excited to be heading up to Towns on the weekend. I bought a lotto ticket tonight, $20 million, boys. So if I win, you're in. I don't know where you're going to be staying. That's not my problem. I don't know. I'll buy a
Magnetic Island or whatever it's called.
Magnetic Island, if you're winning $20 million, $3,000 a
Yeah,
night.
but you can't get back there after. It won't matter. We won't need to get back there after the game if I win $20 million. That's for sure. I'll buy a house for the weekend. Look, let's move on. Obviously, a massive result last week. I called it. I was pretty close to my prediction, actually. I'm pretty happy with that one, but that friggin' last try got me. And I said, I thought we'd win comfortably. I thought we'd win that game comfortably, and we did. We ran away with it. They were never in the contests, and it kind of reminded me of that game against Brisbane back in 2019. We never looked like losing. So, great result. I'll go to Rey Mysterio first. Ray, first of all, thanks. Big fan of yours. Thanks for joining us. Your thoughts
before you start, Ray, just tell us where you get that mask from.
Yeah, guys, make sure you go and check out the Eels over on Facebook. It's a great cause for Westmead's Children's Hospital. Masks are 2 for $40 or 1 for $25. They're really good quality as well, as you can see there. So, yeah, pretty comfortable. And I did say, boys, that I'll be wearing it at some point during the podcast. So here I am for tonight's podcast wearing it. But,
before you go to the game, as Bruce said, it's a great improvement. I honestly think this will be our highest rated show ever.
When you mentioned the mask, you threw me off. What was your question again, Adam? Sorry.
What were your thoughts on last week's win against the Raiders at CommBank?
I thought it was a good win. I thought it was a good team win. We produced plenty of points in attack. I thought Will Penasini had one of the best games of his career. I thought the crowd was really, really good as well. It was a loud crowd getting behind CommBank, or as I still like to call it, Bank West Stadium. Just an impressive victory. Mitchell Moses had a big game. I disagree with him getting the NRL Player of the Week card. He ended up being the Player of the Week. And obviously Dylan Brown running for 300 metres probably. We'll talk about it later, but probably those three are probably the considerate man of the match. But, yeah, it was a really dominant performance. Whether Canberra turned up, I'm just not too sure. But, yeah, you were close with your prediction. Just the one try to Xavier Savage and a great night out on Friday night. And as you said, Adam, we never felt nerves. We went confident into that game and got the result.
Yeah, I didn't feel nervous till the moment I started walking in the ground, actually. And then I got there, I thought, oh, shit. And I looked, and I was like, I thought Canberra, they do have a bit of a bandwagon, so I thought they'd turn up in numbers. And I saw that scene of green, and I thought to myself, how fun would it be if that was us trying to ruin a party? If that was us sitting over there trying to have an away game and getting a result. And I just had a feeling I was going to be listening to them all night for some reason when I got in there. But look, we ran away with the game, and credit to them. They stuck around. They supported their team. Troy, your thoughts next?
Look, the boys, they turned up. They never looked like losing from the start, and you saw that straight away from the kickoff. The 29,134 at CommBank, it was an electric atmosphere there, probably one of the best atmospheres in a long time. It was just magnificent, the atmosphere. But look, credit to Gutho. He was anywhere and everywhere, saved that try by knocking the ball out of Jordan Rapana's hands. Junior Paolo, he had a blinder, scored a great try off a pass from Ryan Madison. As you mentioned, Hayden or Ray, whatever. Will Penasini scored the first try. I wasn't on him, unfortunately. I switched off him. I went Sean Lane, so I learned my lesson there. So
what did I say last week? I didn't back it up. I said I'm going to back him first try scorer because you've gone off him, and I bloody didn't, and he scored.
Well, see, you didn't learn either. So, Matty, just pencil it in now. Will Penasini, first try scorer this week.
And fans, pencil it in. Do not back Will Penasini, first try scorer this week. Troy's predicted him.
But, it was just an all-round team effort. Outstanding effort from Dylan Brown. As you said, over 300 running metres. I think all the forwards over 100 metres plus. And there probably wasn't a bad player on the ground. And one of the most pleasing aspects I thought was when Mitchell went off for his HIA and Jake came on. He had a solid 15 minutes, and the fact that he went off when Mitchell came back on the other side of the field in front of the Eels supporters bay, and then walked around the corner of the field. And people were standing and applauding him and cheering him and just really giving him that encouragement, which I thought was a really nice touch.
I'll touch on that quickly because I was going to get to it later, but now you mentioned it. There was a lot of confusion around. And sadly, before the game when they, made the announcement, not as bad as it has been, but there still was a few boos for his name coming from the cheap seats once again, calling those people out. But there's a lot of confusion. I was talking to someone, it doesn't matter who I was talking to, and what she said to me was that she thought they were actually booing when he come on, there was a massive boo. But what actually happened was the moment he come on the big screen, what happened was they put Jack Whitenapp after he just dog-shotted Moses. So there was a massive boo. Yeah. So there's a lot of confusion of people thinking that Arthur was getting booed when he come on the field, which, I get people can be stupid and stuff, but no one's going to be that stupid in that scenario. Like, you've got a backup halfback on the field. You're going to bring him on when your halfback goes down or goes off for HIA, same as the week before. So I think that created a lot of confusion. But look, I actually got a little bit teary. There's no tears, but it was a bit of an emotional moment when they clapped him, and you could tell he didn't want to come off. I'm going to touch more on that later after Matt has his say, as I don't believe he should have come off. But you could tell he didn't want to come because he was enjoying the moment, and you could tell that, I don't know if he might have thought there may have been some boos for him when he came on the field over, because he kept his head down the whole time the crowd was clapping him. But it just was one of those good moments where I was proud to be a Parramatta fan.
He's a 19-year-old kid, so he might have been a bit embarrassed and shy, and
you don't
not embarrassed, but shy.
He's the shyest kid you'll meet.
Yeah, 100%. And also after the game as well, when Brad and Jake walked out to go to their cars, there was big cheers and thanks and good luck and stuff like that as well. So
girls yelling out, "We love you, Jake."
Yeah. So I mean, and look, there's been all this talk.
No, it was just. It was a couple girls. There was a couple girls standing next to us, and they were screaming for him. It was pretty good.
But I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the last couple of weeks whether he should be on the bench or not. But look, it certainly has come into play the last couple of weeks. Definitely, it's probably been a good thing that he has been on the bench with Mitchell going off for HIAs, and it's given him experience in big games. Yeah. Didn't have the best of games against Penrith. Did his job against Canberra, but gave him that touch of experience in big games.
Yeah, for sure. We'll go more into that after. Matt, quickly, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was kind of like, I don't know, the last couple of weeks have been up and down, and I don't know whether it's false advertising, but the way they walked into the game, they were relaxed, they were joking around, they were just, it was like, even after last week's game, when they walked out, it was like they knew. But strong effort.
Quickly, Hayden's back with us. Thanks, Hayden, for joining us.
Oh, hey, Hayden.
Oh, Hayden. How you going, mate?
Thanks, Ray. Ray. Ray's flown out to SmackDown.
Yeah, we had a 10-minute period there.
Okay. So, but no, it was good to see the fans turn up. We saw some wild set plays that we haven't seen before, which was good. As I said, though, when they kept saying we're where we wanted to be, it was like they knew. But yeah, credit to Canberra fans. That sea of green behind the goalpost most of them stayed to the very last second of the game, so it was good. But yeah,
And they created an
the
atmosphere
Viking.
through the game
Oh
too.
yeah, the
Like,
Viking clap.
in there early cheering and stuff.
It
So
was.
I
It was
don't
pretty
hate
good.
Canberra. I hate Ricky Stewart, but I don't hate Canberra. So
Yeah.
And me and Hudson Young had a running battle or not. That's another story for another day. Continue, Matt.
Was it you that he looked over and went like that or something, rubbed his head to you?
He
Or
did something to me. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm avoiding Greeter for the next 3 months of off season. That's for sure. Because I know the bloke personally. I did not stop at him. So
Let's not forget too that during the week there was that talk of the nepotism and
exactly.
everyone against each other in the club as well.
Yeah,
And
we'll have to. We've got a whole segment on that coming up. Don't worry about that.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the rundown.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's no rundown. We make
no
it up
rundown.
rundown. We're definitely talking about it.
You just wing it. But yeah, it was what's that now? 2 semi-finals at Parra and it's 98 to 4.
No, we've had 3. We got beat by South Sydney in 2020.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't at that game. That doesn't count to me.
98
was that at Parra?
Yeah, come back.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I don't remember. I was at a wedding that night, so I don't remember.
There's a wedding on in September. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
going to go into my moment of the game. You've had long enough, Matt. I'm going to go to my moment of the game. And it was actually the Wonga Blake try. Just after the game that Wonga had last week. He came out with intensity straight away in defence and attack, the way he was running the ball, his involvement. Almost cost us early on because he jammed in like an absolute maniac looking to kill someone. And they went straight down the short side. I believe it's when Parra ended up knocking the ball on. And I was blowing up Deluxe. But it showed he was in the game. Avoided dropping back a bit. And the media and a few people in different groups said, oh, don't worry, Canberra can't put bombs up like Penrith. Well, Fogarty proved he could put those bombs up because those ones that Gutho were taking were spiralling.
Torpies, weren't they?
They were better than Cleary's.
Yeah,
they were actually doing something that Cleary's weren't. And they were dropping last minute as well as sparring, which is a very hard thing to do. I can do it, but
professional.
Yeah, I 100% can. But it took me a good solid 7 years of soccer and football to actually be able to torpedo a ball like that.
And Matty,
Matty,
Gutho must have been listening to the podcast as well because he actually let one bounce as well.
Yeah, I hate that still. But anyway, so my moment of the game was actually Wonga's try. First of all, the way we set it up, the nice ball by Mitch. Mitch probably could have dummied and scored himself. He could have hit well on a short ball. And just the way Wonga stepped in, and I believe it's honestly the moment we won the game. Went 3 tries ahead, 16-0, and there was no coming back from them. But my player of the game, who was mentioned earlier by Hayden, was Will Penasini. We saw Will this time last year really come of age. And it was a semi-final against Newcastle where he put Fergo over and he just cut him to pieces. And we thought, we knew this kid was good. We knew he was going to be special. But for me, he hasn't gone on this year like he should have. And it's second-year syndrome. It happens quite a bit. To see him come out now, besides getting the head knock against Penrith, I thought he was dangerous. I thought we'd look for him a lot against Penrith. Look to getting the ball for his strength. And it's that try he scored. Like, Jordan Rapana, the mug he is, though, he's still a quality first-grade footballer. He's been around a long time, played a lot of international football. And the way he turned him in, he was gasping there. He had no idea whatsoever. So Will Penasini was actually my man of the match just for those moments, which is obviously pretty hard to pick one out in a pretty impressive team. But I'll go to you next, Troy. Your moment of the game, any player of the game?
Well, I think probably the moment of the game, I thought, was probably that 3-man tackle. I think started off by Sean Lane to get him into the in goal and just showed you their intensity to, step up and, pick them up and drag them into the in goal. Like they could have just made a normal tackle, but they wanted that repeat set and they did that. So, and I think they might have scored after that anyway. But look, I can't really name one, to be honest. I just think it was a really good team effort. There there was a lot of players. Sean Lane, Isaiah Papali'i, Mitchell, obviously, Gutho, Dillon. So I just think it was an all-round team effort, and probably one of the first this year that we've really seen everyone combine together, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Matt, you next?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm going to say Wonga, just for the bounce back. Just his intent runs out of trouble. Like there was one where he put us over the halfway in the second tackle. Like he was strong. He didn't make any. He held back in defense when needed. I just feel like he made up for his thing last week, and it should have been at least 52. He's 52. It should have been 52. I'm sorry. Those are tries.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. All right. Hayden?
I agree with you, Adam. I think Will Penasini had, the best game of his career. You mentioned it last year. He had that pretty good game against Newcastle, but he really stepped it up in this finals game. It was a big kind of game, especially at home, and I thought Will was my player of the match. I thought our halves in Brown and Moses both combined and were both involved, but Will was just insane for me, and his defensive efforts were so good against someone like Matt Tomoko, who was shrugging off Cameron Munster just last week. But for me, the moment of the game, and I may have gotten this wrong, but I think it was in the first half, there was Nick Kotrick had the ball and the Raiders had the momentum going into the game, and Wonga Blake just dragged him over the sideline. And it was from a decent distance too. It wasn't like one of those close kind of sideline take over the sideline. It was a proper defensive effort. And just in recent weeks, I've thought both of our wingers dragging over the sideline, not even that close, and not giving away penalties off it because they're not on the ground. But I thought the defence from the wingers have been outstanding, and that brings a lot of confidence going into Townsville with having Sivo and Wonga in that defensive form.
What was your favourite try, boys?
I've already said mine.
Yeah. Matty?
I love
what
the
was your favourite try?
Oh.
Huh?
What was your favourite try?
Probably the last one, eh?
Was good. Go on, Troy. What was yours?
The flick out from Mitch.
We went
back from Wonga on.
One side to the other. Yeah. That one.
That one? It was shit footy, but it was good footy. It's unneeded footy, but it was good footy in a way. Like the way we threw the ball around proved we could do that. But it kind of left you wondering some games earlier in the year when we were chasing games and we just tried to play our defensive in our structure and then just go through our sets to try and win games. Where was that kind of football? But anyway, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. We're here, we're in the prelim, we're finished where we want to. So let's get to some of the moments, obviously, of the game. Look, obviously, the forward pass, it didn't cost us in the end. It wasn't forward. I love the bullshit chant from the crowd. That was probably the loudest chant I've ever heard. We sing back to it as well. It was clear as day. And then, obviously, the Sivo no try one, same thing. Could have been given a try all year. Didn't cost us in the end, but it's one of those ones you wouldn't want to go against you in a big game, in a close game. Tom Opacek obviously picking up an injury. We'll touch on that quickly. Said he didn't know when he actually did the injury, didn't feel a pop or didn't feel anything going in. Just all of a sudden had some tightness there and had to come off, iced it up. He's been named this week. We'll go through that more with the later on in the game. But we'll go quickly to the Mitch situation because I wasn't happy. Look, it was a head slam. It was a similar head slam to what Jared Weir-Hargraves has got 3 weeks for. And it wasn't even put on report or penalised. He goes off for HI. That's fair enough. I don't think he was actually concussed. I think he was just more pissed off. That's why he sat there. Because obviously he's just come back. The game was gone. I thought Jack Whiten got that shit out of his game. I don't get it, especially when they've been, New South Wales teammates and stuff like that. Your season's over. Why try and take a bloke out? What are you trying to prove? It frustrated me a lot, obviously. But what frustrated me more was the fact that Arthur brought him back on the field. To me, he'd lost all touch of the game at that moment because I know Mitch could have been sitting there saying, I want to go back on. And Arthur could have been thinking, I want him to get the confidence to go back on. Because I was worried he'd be his confidence going into the game. But if he failed another HIA, which almost happened, right? Whiten comes and hits him with a shoulder charge, then hits him with a swinging arm on the ground and misses him, gets him around the chest. But if he gets him in the jaw, Mitch isn't playing this week. because you cannot pass your second HIA. If you go off for another HIA, you cannot pass it. So he fails his HIA, and then he can't play this week because he's had 2 failed games in 2 weeks in a row. There's no way he would have been given approval in a turnaround, even if he had no symptoms whatsoever. So for me, that was frustrating. You expect a first-grade coach and someone, especially with the experience of Brad Arthur, to be all over that situation. At 28-4, and this is the point I'll make, and it's not bagging out Jake at all, if he didn't have confidence that Jake could round out that game at halfback and get us the win, then to me, he's pretty much saying that Jake isn't up to first-grade standard at the moment. Does anyone want to disagree with that? Anyone have their say? Or
to be honest, I feel like, yeah, BA, even in the press conference afterwards, he didn't even think of that. He just brought him back on, which kind of shows it. But yeah, I feel like he should have just left Mitch off, told him go have a shower. Even like Joey Johns and all that in the commentary was saying, it was 15 minutes ago, you're up by 30, leave him off. Like,
the thing is, they brought him out. He passed his HA, so they had the proof he passed his HA. Maybe in the back of his head, he thought he has to go back on the field to prove he's passed HIA, but they sat him on the bike. He was sitting there riding the bike for a good solid 2-3 minutes, keeping himself warm in case needed. So in case Canberra went on and magically scored 3 or 4 tries in 8 minutes or something, then he was there ready to go. But I don't know, it just shows you he did not think. And for me, it gave me question marks about his coaching ability once again. I know we shouldn't be questioning going to prelim. I'm trying to stay positive, but you've got to think about these things. Like if we lost Mitch that for one more HA, I have no doubt we would have lost the game this weekend without Mitch. I think we all think that. Anyone else want anything to say on that?
Well, we're just lucky. We're just lucky it's not like UFC, because we see Mitch get knocked out. I saw a few of the UFC fighters I know status updates during the week, and they were questioning why in UFC it's literally 40 days. They got 40 days. They can't do anything for 40 days. Ooh. Where with NRL, couple days, 7 days later, Mitch is back on the field after being.
The English Super League. Let's look at the English Super League, the grand final this week. Leeds Rhinos making the grand final after an amazing run. Yes, I'm a Leeds fan. Aiden Caesar is going to miss the grand final this weekend because a similar thing. John Bateman took him out. It was as liberal as you can get. He made sure he wasn't in the rest of that game. In the Super League, if you are knocked out, you cannot play the week after. You miss one game guaranteed. So he now misses a grand final because of that. So, we could have been in a similar situation with, we can say our star player is our halfback, is our most important player, missing a game. So, I know, it's little things like that. And maybe...
I agree with what you say, Adam. There was talk in the crowd that, Mitch should stay off, potentially for the rest of the game, and just let Jake play. And I probably would have done that as well. I would have left Jake on a little bit longer. Let him, again, give him more confidence of playing big games. And whilst we did have that buffer, and then give Mitch that rest. But I don't know about questioning BA's coaching techniques though, because I just think
he didn't think. He just didn't think about it. It's the worrying thing is that he may not have known, which is worrying. If he didn't think, we're all entitled to brain snaps. Players, coaches, fans, referees, even all get brain snaps. But if he didn't know, that's the concerning thing for me. That if he didn't know that if he failed on HA, he wouldn't play next week.
But he would have had people around him anyway who knew what the rules were.
Well, I'll bring you on to the next point then of where there's smoke, there's fire. And look, it obviously came out the day before the game. We know the media like to try and do everything to distract Parramatta and get them off their game. But I don't want to be talking too much about it going into prelim, but there's obviously something still going on in the club. And it's more evident once again with Nathan Brown once again not named this week. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and there obviously is some kind of internal problem. And look, we're not going to jump on Junior Paula and blame Reid for leaking it, which was one of the funniest interviews I think I've seen. But there obviously is some kind of problem. So what if some of those people saying stuff to Brad and saying, look, he shouldn't go back on, blah, blah, this is the reasons why. What if he's lost the faith in those people? What if he's lost the trust in those people? What if the complicated word that starts with N that you used before, Troy, say it. I can't say it. I'm not good with big words.
Nepotism.
That nepotism. Yeah, I can say it once you've said it. What if it is the truth? What if there is some of that going on within the club? And then what if there is a bit of disharmony amongst the players? We've got a lot of players leaving at the end of the year for one reason or another.
We've seen this happen the last how many years BA's been coach anyway. Like Moy didn't get a last game. He was in reserve grade. Timmy Manor didn't get a last game because he was in reserve grade. Like,
but
we've
why?
seen it.
I can tell you why the Tim Manor won.
Oh, yeah. I know.
We all know why Tim Manor
won.
was. It was because of some of the party culture within the club and his beliefs and stuff, and a lot of that had to do with a bit of pain as well. The Fui when we won, Brad just thought he was past it and wasn't up to it anymore. Well, the bloke's still playing, so I reckon he could have gone at least the rest of the season. But for me, the Nathan Brown one, there's a bit more to it. And look, the rumours are floating around that he did question his selections back, I believe, when he was moving Dylan to the centres and playing Jake at 5'8". And that's when it all started. And that's when we kind of saw Nathan disappear from the team. He got called back in for one game against the Tigers, obviously. And he's been seen thereabouts since, but hasn't been seen. And for me, it's a strange thing to bring someone this week. I know you love him, but to bring someone like Cartwright in against a big forward pack, you got to put shit behind you. Like,
there's a lot of talk though that this internal report and the nepotism was filtering or from.
You're just using that word for fun now, aren't you?
Yeah, just so you could say it.
Yeah.
From Jersey Flag, SG Ball, through the cup, and then filtering its way slowly up into first grade. I don't think there's a problem in the first grade squad, because a player's going to come out on record and say that there's no problem, because then if there is a problem, they're going to be looking like liars.
The simple fact is, it's a workplace at the end of the day, right? I've played footy for a long time. I've worked for a long time in the same workplace. There's people at work I don't like. There's people I've played footy with I don't like. You don't have to be your best mates with everyone. You're going to have your play clicks, right? But the worrying thing for me is the coach shouldn't get involved in that. And if you believe the report and there's evidence there to suggest the report is true, he is getting involved in it. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. We could talk about it for ages. It's probably one for the off season, or
just one quick shout out to Xavier Savage.
Not Brad Arthur listening, because
no, not Brad Arthur. Look, I know there's not many Canberra fans who listen to the Talking Parra podcast, but kudos to Xavier Savage as well. I think we're on the tack or something like that, and the trainer gave him the water bottle, and he suddenly had to become involved. So he's just tossed the water bottle, as you do, and it's hit a Parra fan in the front row. We all booed those who saw it. I didn't see the water bottle hit the Parra fan, but those who did booed Xavier Savage for doing it. The trainer from Canberra came over and made sure everything was all right. Are you okay? You're not hurt. And then after we scored a try, Xavier Savage ran over and made sure everything was okay and said, look, I'm sorry, it was an accident. I didn't do it deliberately. And then obviously ran off for the Canberra kickoff. So, he didn't have to do that, even though it was an accident. So good on him for doing that.
Yeah, good young kid. They obviously had one of those games as well. He scored a magnificent try, but had a bit of nerves as well. But tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing him in the Parramatta jersey, that's for sure, at such a young age. But all right, let's move on. We're going to quickly go through because I've remembered this week, our bold predictions, because, look, I almost nailed the score. Matt went 26-12. Hayden went 28-10. Troy went 22-14. I was confident at 34-6. I was pissed off when they took the 2. Then we scored a try. So disappointing for me. I didn't back him 30+. I went 28. If I had him 36-6 or 36-4, even I would have backed him 30+, and I wouldn't have cared.
No one gets points.
Well, I get points. I'm the closest. That's my point there. The boys' first try scorer, Adam Dylan Brown, Troy Sean Lane, Hayden Isaiah Papali'i, and Matt Tom Opacek. We'll give Matt the points because Tom scored the second try. Everyone's happy with that. Troy, we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it.
And Tom's the other centre.
Hayden
Centre scored
swapped,
the-
remember? Hayden
yeah,
took
he
mine,
did.
so I
Yes,
took
I did.
his.
I do remember that. Adam's prediction, Sivo hat trick. Well, he got one taken off him. He could have had a second. He passed the ball. Great offload. Troy Penasini double. Well, he got one. Probably should have
Half
taken
a
him first
point.
try scorer. Probably should have taken him first try scorer, Troy. Nathan
Half
Brown.
a point.
Matt was very bold. Nathan Brown to play and score a try. Unless you've been
That's
sending
okay.
unless you've been sending chocolates to Brad Arthur's house every day, I don't think Nathan Brown's playing. And Hayden, Sivo try, Moses 2 tries hits on lane over 100 meters.
Oh,
Sivo,
Lane Lane over 100 metres. Sivo was denied a try, but Moses only had one try assist.
Did he actually only get one try assist? Yeah, right.
Yeah, he only had one
Okay.
try assist. I was
You sure
keeping
he
an eye on it, mate.
Yeah, fair. All right. I was going to give you the points, but Troy gets half a point there. So that's pretty much it for our predictions that week. So
What's the
Let's
tally board like, Matty?
the finals tally board.
I'll pull out the book. And I've gone into a new book because I used up the other one.
Well, it is. It's a new thing anyway. It's deep into final
Yeah.
football. There's only 4 of us remaining, so just like the NRL, we haven't cut anyone yet. But 2 of you are actually getting cut next week, so we'll see how we go. All right, Friday night. Obviously, Townsville. We mentioned it. There's some Blue and Gold Army members, those who can afford to hang out. We obviously know it's a massive cost. Not for me and Hayden, because we're smart, aren't we, Hayden? You can thank me for that when we're up there. You owe me a beer for sure for getting you onto that.
Rich kids.
Yeah, well, for those who don't know, which I've told a lot of people, after the podcast, was it the podcast or we're talking the group? We're talking the group, weren't we?
Yeah.
I actually booked not last Sunday before, so after the Cowboys beat Cronulla, I booked my flights and accommodation then, and then Hayden jumped on board. So we took a massive risk. Hayden's a lover of rugby league. He would have gone and watched Canberra versus the Cowboys if that was the situation, for sure. No, you wouldn't have.
Nah, I thought about it, but you know what? I don't think I would. I would have
been way too fucking bitter to go. I'm not even going to lie. I would have gone if we got beat, especially if we just got beat. I would have gone to Townsville on the weekend, and I probably would have sat in my hotel room miserable till the AFL Grand Final was on. I would not have gone anywhere near that rugby league stadium.
Imagine if you booked the tickets on week 1 of the finals. It would have been even cheaper.
Oh,
Well, it's true, but I didn't
They
think the
were
Cowboys
like
would-
130 or something for a
Mate, they were
ticket.
even said I cost myself $100 each because I was going to book them on Saturday, and I booked them on a Sunday morning because I waited for Dad's permission. I should have done it and said, "You're coming." Anyway, we're going to be there. Obviously, there'll be a few blue and gold there. There's a few blue and gold live in Queensland. We know that. We see it went up at Suncorp. So let's hope there's a couple of thousand of us there. The Parramatta base sold out. The game is sold out. It's sold out in crazy record time. It was huge. I couldn't believe it. It didn't even make it to a general public sale. When I looked this morning, before the general public sale, there was 6 single seats remaining. That was it. 6 seats in the nosebleed single. So it's sold out. Look, we know the Forex lovers. They'll turn up. They'll be abusive. They're not a bad mob of people, actually, the Cowboys fans, and I actually don't mind them.
Rum drinkers.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to tell you a quick story before we get into the prediction. We've obviously had a bit of bad luck against the Cowboys, 2005 and 2017. I'm starting to think I'm the curse. In 2004, was it 2003? 2004, maybe. When did the Roosters play the Cowboys in the prelim? 2003 or 2004? 2004?
4, I think.
Would have been 2004 because I played in the grand final.
Yeah.
The Roosters.
There you go. Well, they played in the grand final in 2003 too. They played in 3 in a row. But yeah, anyway, so 2004, we went to a game when I was about 12 or 13. My sister was actually at a formal, so me and Dad were like, oh, we'll go to the footy. Now, I didn't wear a Cowboys jersey, but I wore a hat. It was a cowboy hat, and I was a young kid, and I always felt sorry for the Cowboys. Like, my best mate is still a Cowboys fan. He's one of my oldest mates since we were 5 years old, and I always felt sorry for him because they always sucked. So I always kind of had him as my second team. Back when you were a kid, you had a second team. So I went and supported them and thought, and they got beat, and it was sad, and the Roosters fans, everyone hates the Roosters. But the curse was that they beat us the year after in 2005 and knocked us out. So there's, at that stage, a 14-year-old Adam with a broken leg. It took him an hour to get into the game because he couldn't walk on crutches. Had to sit there and watch his team get beat 29-0. That was part one. I learnt my mistake, and I said I'll never support another second team again. But I think in 2015 or 2016 when the Cowboys won the comp 16, I think we all kind of wanted the Cowboys to win that. I don't say I can say every single person watching that game was supporting the Cowboys over the Broncos, and Hunt had one of those moments, but I just had to mention that. But look, we all supported them then, and we thought, how good is this? Go the Cowboys. We're all the biggest Cowboys fans. 2017 comes around, they knock us off again in an elimination game. I have not supported the Cowboys since. I don't hate them. I don't love them. But I've never supported them in a game. I've never wanted them to win a game of football since. So I'm confident it's our time to beat them. So maybe the curse is over. Hey?
You forgot one.
When they
That
beat
time
us?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that game they come back, yeah. I'm talking
That
finals.
time. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, that time
at Parra
that's not-
Stadium when we had that
Yeah.
touch football game on the field.
I gave you a
with the
touch
Legends.
footballing lesson that day, so that's all I remember about that day.
Yeah, but my team, the Legends team, we got the win that night. But,
The Legends team was stacked with who
Stacked.
you have? Bert, Kalis, Bella.
Yeah.
And here's Adam playing with a bunch of celebrities carrying him. They couldn't catch Adam's rocket cutout passes, so I just did it myself.
Gavin Cooper scores 3 tries in 5 minutes to win the game.
Honestly, that game didn't even hurt me. I was still puffing from carrying my team. But anyway, let's move on back to it. So I'll mention this before we get there. Anyone travelling up to the game, obviously the Queensland fans safely turn up in numbers. Queensland Parramatta fans. Going to the Australian hotel. They've got a nice little beer garden there, so I've been told. Apparently it gets quite packed. Before the game from about 3 p.m. I think we'll be there, Hayden. You'll be with me. Get there, have some numbers. We'll have a few drinks, not too many because I want to enjoy the game. And they only sell mid-strength up in Queensland anyway, 4X. So we'll be right. We'll get there, we'll have some drinks and come have a chat and let's get a bit of atmosphere and get to the game. All right, moving on to the game.
What are we going to do, Matt? Where are we watching it?
I'm watching it at Parra Leagues Club on the big screen in the open air car park, and they got food trucks and plenty of entertainment. So
hopefully that Mate Burger place is there for you because they are the best burgers I've ever had in my life.
Yeah,
it's recommending. Yep, sponsor if you're interested in Mate Burger, sponsor us. Your burgers are amazing.
There you go.
Are you going to be there?
I'm tossing up at the moment. I don't know where I'll be.
Well,
be in an open air car park. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like a drive-in. It's like a
drive-in. Thousands of other Parra fans. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mate, you got to pay Head and Greta Drive-In or something to put it on. All the cars at Head and Greta Drive-In, big screen.
Head and Greta.
Head and Greta.
People get it wrong. That's what my parents said.
He's going next year anyway. Who cares, mate?
Might just watch it behind me anyway.
He's actually going to build another one. That's a whole other story. That's what they did in Queensland, a lot of Broncos fans during COVID. They put the big screens on the drive-ins. They put the footy on the big screens, which is actually pretty cool to see.
Blackdown Drive-In, if you're listening, hook it up.
Well, they do that. They don't they do like the WrestleMania and stuff at the cinemas and State of Origin.
They should just have it at Hoyts. They used to do Origin at Hoyts. Just have Hoyts. Hoyts, if you're listening.
Yeah. I don't think Hoyts is actually a person, Hayden.
Isn't anyone at Hoyts?
Anyway, we've got
Hoyts Penrith especially.
Yeah, everyone get down to the Parra Leagues because the atmosphere after the game, if we go when we win, I think Fox Sports is going to be there.
Oh, Fox will be
there.
I've seen it the 2 times the Cowboys have knocked us off. Fox usually set up a camera at Cowboys Leagues Club or wherever they have their thing. So you think Fox will be there. Hopefully after every time they do a live cross back to where it is because it'll be pretty awesome seeing everyone go off. They'll get us going at the game as well if we see that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we're going to be the minority and we need all the support we can get. So I am taking the drum up. It's cost me a small fortune. I've had to buy 2 tickets for it. Thank you, Queensland Country Bank Stadium, for making me do that. I've had to book it on the plane. So anyway, it's an expensive drum to get there. It's cost almost as much as me. Extra costs. The thing you do
get a seat for the drum as well, or what?
Yeah, I had to get a seat for the drum. 2 seats for the drum.
No, on the plane.
No, it's not sitting next to me. I don't think it has to wear a mask. It's going in the overcarried, unchecked-in luggage or some crap, which costs a small fortune. But anyway. All right, let's get on the game. As I said, Friday, 7:50, Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Team changes are nil for the starting team. Obviously, we see Tom Opacek named at the moment. Madison named at 13, which has been the case for the last, 3 or 4 weeks. But on the bench, number 14, Matt, do you want to tell us who number 14 is?
Bryce Cartwright.
Bryce Cartwright comes in at 14 for now. Arthur at 15. Kafusi at 16, Makatoa at 17, and the 18. Sorry, I take that back. 17 is Nakora. The 18 is Makatoa. And then Simonson, Brown, Ogden, and Rodwell. Kai Rodwell, big chance to make his 7th debut game if he doesn't drop out of that list. But I'm expecting changes. I think we're all expecting Tom to be out. They said the scans weren't as bad, but for me, it's a hard one.
Big risk, isn't it?
It's a massive risk. We've got the depth to cover it with Murata, obviously can slot in there. And that might be why Cartwright's there as well. But you've got to look at the Cowboys' outside backs as well. I'd rather 100% fit Murata. I'd probably even rather 100% fit Bailey or Wonga if we have to make that move, it's not my preference, but if we had to. You've got Valentine Holmes, who for me is a player we've got to stop. I know he's one of Hayden's pretty much favourite players, but I'm going to give Peter Hickey a rap as well because he's a player I've always rated. He's obviously been to a few clubs this year. He's playing great football. I don't know how they're going to shape that up. I don't know what changes are going to be made there. But to have Tom, who has been massively helpful to our defensive structure since our defense has improved, but to have him there at 50% or maybe 70% against this player with the strike ability of potentially Valentine Holmes makes me nervous. I'd rather Murata there do a job. And also, I've got full confidence that Murata's going to whack him around a bit as well. But it comes with its negatives as well because they're talking 32 degrees during the day, 28, 29 degrees during kickoff. You put someone of Murata's size into the centres, he could potentially struggle there as well. So, look, they've obviously got a plan they're going to go with if Tommy's out. I've been told he's going to be given up to the last minute. Probably won't train all week anyway, so obviously that plan will be good to go. But we are expecting the changes. If he is out...
I'll message the NRL physio and just get his take on Tom's injury and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, it sounds good because he will get back to you too and he will do it. He probably already has if we haven't looked. But look, if he is out, obviously very easy solution there is to, as I said, push Murata in there and then bring someone else on the bench given the current circumstances between Coach Brad Arthur and non-coach Nathan Brown, you'd probably expect Makatoa just to slot back in. For me, that's disappointing. I don't think Makatoa deserved to be dropped. I thought he actually started to play quite good football. I'm going to question Arthur again, as if he didn't question Jacob Arthur's inclusion. It's obviously come off handy the last 2 weeks with Mitch going down, but there's a big chance we go into this game and we only use 15 players once again because Cartwright's rocks and diamonds. He can give us a spark if needed. And once again, Arthur probably won't get on the field if not required, unless we've got the game comfortably won and we start making subs or we get an injury or a HI or whatever. For me, that's nothing but stupidity going into a game against the Cowboys, and especially with the Cowboys forward pack. They're used to playing in these conditions. Our forwards are going to blow. They asked Junior the question straight away. He said, look, we're used to. I've played Origin up there, all this kind of stuff. And obviously they played at the back end of last year in Queensland as well. But it's easy to say that. I hope there's method to the madness. I'm thinking we might be going to go light for a period of the game and potentially put Oregon and Maddo maybe into the front row and then Cardi at lock. Play that light kind of structure and play a bit of razzle-dazzle footy if required. But I know I'll go to you, Hayden. Your thoughts on that team and really, is there method to the madness or is it just a bit of a rush of blood or something they've obviously worked out?
Yeah, you mentioned it, the razzle-dazzle and the rocks and diamonds of Bryce Cartwright. I don't mind him as a player. His defence sometimes is questionable, but does provide those razzle-dazzle and smart plays throughout the season. We've seen it. I've said it all year, that Dragons pass in the Dragons game, that flick pass out to the corner, great play. So good to see him to have that cover. So, look, for Jake the last 2 weeks, he's obviously come on and played for an injured Mitch Moses, but with Mitch kind of having a week since his last HIA, which is past, I thought it was a bit interesting that he was named. You mentioned it. I think a forward, an extra forward is needed. You saw Murata Niokore come off for a HIA. Obviously passed it just the other day against the Raiders. So that kind of shows that the forwards kind of need that cover. I really hope Makatoa doesn't find his way into the side. I don't think he's been playing his best footy. I've been saying it for quite a while now. You mentioned Nathan Brown against the Tigers had an absolute blinder. So I'd love to see Nathan Brown just even some small minutes. Noam Brad will probably play 6 minutes, if that. coming off the bench. But yeah, like you boys, I don't believe Tom Opacek will play. I think it's too big of a risk for his own personal health. I think it's the last time we've seen him in Parramatta colours unless he's fit for next week.
Yep. Troy?
Yeah, look, I thought last week against the Raiders it was probably the best bench rotation that Brad's used throughout the season. Sure, we did have a few interruptions, but other than those interruptions, I think it was the best bench rotation that he's done. If Tommy is out, I definitely agree. Put Murata in the centre. Look, I'd probably say let bygones be bygones and put Brownie on the bench. But I can see why he's probably going with the same team for same momentum of the same team, same plays, same momentum week in, week out. We've questioned it for the last couple of weeks why Jake's on the bench, but look, it's going to be interesting. The Cowboys have gone with a big bench as well, so we've gone with a bit of a lighter bench. So maybe the tactic might be, even though they're from up there, the tactic might be to run around their big blokes and have our lighter, faster players get around them and stuff like that.
The thing that makes me nervous about their bench is the fact that maybe that's why we put Cartwright there as well, but they've got the Hammer named on the bench. They've got 3 forwards in the Hammer. And Blake's going, we don't have enough forwards on the bench. But that makes me nervous against a tiring Parramatta defence if he comes on and just floats around. And that's me, we don't have that strike. Cartwright could be that strike player, but I don't know, it makes me a bit nervous. Matt, your thoughts and then we can go on.
Yeah, it's a strange one because when we left on Friday night, all talk was the boys were flying up on, what was it, Troy, Tuesday or Wednesday? Speaking to some of the players, they all thought they were flying up midweek to acclimatise to the conditions, and then the players' wives were talking about driving up the following day and or going on a road trip, which me and Troy were trying to jump in. But
with the wives, you weirdos. He's a married man.
Yeah, but we know.
Hey, I'm sure Junior's.
Nelly would have taken us easy.
She could have organised a big, from Junior's car sponsor, a big family bus.
She got a Tarago for sure.
No, we would have gone in the G-Wagon. But yeah,
I'm not touching that.
Shout out to Junior sponsors if you want to land us a Lambo or whatever Junior rocks up in the car.
Yeah, that'd be very comfortable to drive at the Townsville, wouldn't it?
You might make it in a Lambo.
But yeah, like it's a strange one. But then you see, we kind of trained. It was kind of hot weather here, not as hot as up there. We've seen all the Cowboys training videos. The pre-season that they got put through was ridiculous. But yeah, it's a strange one. But all the boys are in saunas tonight, and yeah, I don't know. I would have taken them up early, but yeah, hopefully, I think Brown will play. To be honest,
did you say that last week?
Yeah, I said that last week.
Back-to-back goal prediction.
I was confident, but yeah, and then I saw him rock up, and he didn't have a bag or anything, and I got upset. But
pre-game meal,
yeah, or even Ogden off the bench, like a big body, but I don't know how they'll do with the heat. But yeah, that's all I can put Cartwright down to is the offloads, tire him out, play our game, and yeah. Well, Murata would you put Cartwright on and Matto back to the bench if Murata's starting for Tom?
No, I wouldn't start Cartwright in a finals football match, not at all.
I think you got to stick to Madison on the bench.
Yeah, you do, but I still wouldn't be starting Cartwright in this game if that was a situation. Well, I think if Brown or Makatoa comes in,
I'd start Brown.
One of them is going to come in. I'd start both of them at lock over.
Yeah.
Cartwright, to be honest. I think Cartwright's going to be that 10, 15-minute player if we need a bit of razzle-dazzle, to be honest. And I can see him not getting on the field. I want to talk about, because you mentioned...
It is a bit of a gamble, though, because they're on they're hiring the private jet, fly up Thursday night, So it's a bit of a gamble. Do you go up early, try and acclimatise, or does that wear you out? Or do you go up Thursday, fresh, ready to go on the day, and then in out?
That's what I'm going to touch on because there's been a lot of talk about it, obviously, but we do it at Darwin every year. We go up and try and climatise, and how'd that go for us?
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you go out there and you have a training run in the heat. Look, I do a bit of training now, obviously with gym work and stuff through Air Locker, and the whole point of that is training at altitude. Obviously, completely different to training in heat, but what you notice is your body adjusts to different circumstances. My body's used to training at altitude now. We do every now and then we do a training session where you don't actually train at the altitude, and it takes a good solid 2-3 days for your body to feel the effects of that. So if we went up on Tuesday or Wednesday, let's say we went up on Wednesday and did our captain's run in the heat, we'd feel that on Friday when we're playing a game. So it's not actually a bad idea to train down here. Then Friday, look, the boys are going to be sore on Sunday. It's probably going to affect their turnaround for the week after. But the luxury we have if we do win, and it's going to affect our turnaround, is that South Sydney and Penrith are going to belt the crap out of each other on Saturday night, hopefully. And their bodies are going to be sore on the Monday. It's one of those things where it's, 6.5 one dozen the other, really. You can take the risk and say you want to climatise, but you're also putting yourself into a vulnerable position where you're probably going to feel a bit of the effects of, one, the heat, two, you're away from your family, you're away from your friends, you're away from your comfort zone. Your nerves could kick in 2 days earlier, and you're also going to be walking around the streets not being able to escape the hype of the game. Look, Parramatta players, they feel pressure, obviously. 36 years without a competition, there's no doubt. And some of the commentators saying to get away from Sydney as quick as they could. Wouldn't have been a bad idea maybe to escape to somewhere like Coffs Harbour and stuff, or somewhere, halfway. But I know that's not halfway, but somewhere away from Parramatta itself. But we've also seen that happen earlier. They went for that escape to the Central Coast, and how'd that go for them? They switched off.
Yeah.
It's a hard one, but I think they've made the right choice. I want to talk about that Cowboys game because
They done it against Brisbane, flew in, flew out, and look what happened there.
It became the norm during COVID.
Yeah,
really, didn't it? Flying, and look, we've seen it before. There's a couple of games back in 2017 where they flew them out the next thing at 6 o'clock in the morning anyway. So what's the difference? They're obviously going to stay the night after this game and then fly out, but it keeps them out of trouble as well, which is always good when you take any football team to North Queensland, especially Cairns. Don't go to Cairns, boys. All right, I'm going to go through this game because there's been a lot of comparison. They've asked a lot of the boys the questions about when we played in Darwin. We obviously all knew the heat there in Darwin, but I've just been sent through, as we've done the podcast, by my brother, of course, but a thing on One Ideal that was posted about 2 hours ago. And it was actually the team list from then. So I'm going to run through it in the minutes they played. But our team was Gutherson at fullback, obviously, who played 80 minutes. Parram on one wing, 80 minutes. Penasini, 80 minutes in the centres. Brown in the other centre, 80 minutes. Simonson on the wing, 80. Jake Arthur played 5'8" and played 80. Moses, 80. Reg and Junior in the front row, 46 and 43 minutes by each of them. And
respectively.
I've got another word I've lost. And Reid Mahoney in the forwards, 80 minutes. Lane only played 61 minutes. It's that period where Lane was really struggling and looked like he was gassed all the time. Papali, 80 minutes, probably unneeded. And then Brown was at lock 44 minutes. And he had Makatoa playing 9 off the bench, Madison 55, Kafusi 33, and Cartwright 19. Look, so it shows our forwards numbers down, but it definitely wasn't our full strength team. And
we weren't as fit back then as well.
No, not at all.
We're way fitter now.
100% way fitter now. And the other thing is, obviously, those conditions up there as well that time of year, probably similar to what we're going to have now. But like I said, we're probably better prepared for it. We've got more minutes in the legs. Our forwards are pushing out bigger minutes. And it is getting warmer at home now as well. So back then, obviously, we've been cool at home. Like the days are warm here. It was 23, 24 degrees again today. It's going to be 29 degrees. What's 4 or 5 degrees? So people are saying, they absolutely pumped you up there. I remember watching that game and they scored a couple of late tries. I think Cardi come on with about 20 minutes to go and had an absolute shocker. Brown obviously being in the centres majorly affected our attack and they ran away with it late. But we also had one of those games where the bounce the ball didn't go away and there was a couple of moments where we could have scored tries and it would have been a completely different game. So I'm not worried about that result. It's obviously the one time we played the Cowboys, which brings me to our bowl predictions. I'm going first again. I think we'll win. I think we'll actually win quite comfortably. I've done my research over the weekend. I've watched the Cowboys versus Cronulla game. And although it was a great attacking game as a neutral fan, it was great to watch, even though I kind of wanted Cronulla to win, so I didn't have to go to Townsville. But it was,
cheaper.
Yeah, pretty much. I was looking after everyone else. And for me, the defense in that game, the defense was nowhere near the intensity that we've brought for the last 2 weeks. For 60 minutes against Penrith, defensively, we defended our line and we were solid. They scored a couple of tries off errors, and then they scored a couple of tries. I think we were in shock after the Mitch injury off trick plays, and we weren't prepared. I just don't think the Cowboys, if our attack is on song, will defensively be able to stop us. So I'm going Parramatta to win 28-4. I'm getting very similar 2005 vibes where we go up there and blow them away, not the other way around. My prediction is that the Cowboys will score the last try. Don't put that as my bold prediction. No, you can put it as my bold prediction for one of them. I think we'll have them to 28-0 at some stage in the game. So my prediction is for Parramatta to score the first 20 points. There you go, just to give myself a buffer. And my first try scorer is actually going to be Reid Mahoney. Going a nice little trick play, a little wraparound or something. I think their forwards are going to be very fired up for the game. Look to absolutely belt the crap out of Junior and Reg. Let's go on that little Reid and Junior wraparound play with Reid to barge over and score. Hayden, you're going to be there, so I'll go you next.
Yeah, looking forward to being there with you on Friday night in Townsville, Adam.
Oh, you won't be. I'm going to be a mess. I'm going to be in.
Hold hands, boys. Hold hands.
Yeah,
we might even kiss.
Make sure you don't lose each other, eh?
We'll do some live crosses.
Yeah,
100%.
live crosses.
Do some live crosses from the stadium. We'll be at Parra Stadium running around, and yous will be up there.
I'll take me budgie smuggler. If we win, I'm gladly going to be walking around Magnet Colin.
We're going to be. I think on Friday night after the game, we're going to be walking out and we're going to be playing Danger Zone, the Top Gun theme song, out loud throughout the stands. Obviously, the last time Parramatta won the comp, 1986 Top Gun. This year, Top Gun Maverick. I'm sticking with that factor. I love the stat.
Is that because Penrith played it after they were beating us?
I'll tell you what, it's like the Golden State Warriors. They only win when Drake releases an album. So Parramatta's going to win this game. It's going to be very tight, but I think Mitchell Moses' goal kicking all year has been brilliant, and I think it's going to be the difference here. So I'm actually going to go Parramatta by 2. I'm going to go 14 points to 12. I think it's going to be a very tight game. I'm going to go an easy pick there and go Mike Acebo, first try scorer. You know what? I haven't been all that bold in the bold predictions lately, but I'm going to go Regan. I'm going to go Regan Campbell-Gillard to run the most meters out of any forward from the Parramatta team. So out of the
I think I say all teams.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say
most run meters from Parramatta.
Say Cowboys as well.
In the whole team, I guess.
Okay, if he outruns Tamalolo, yeah, I'll be happy with that.
Say Cowboys as well.
Mate, if he outruns Tamalolo, I'll buy you a sex on the beach that night. I'm in a cocktail, guys. I'm in a cocktail, all right? We're drinking cocktails all night if they win.
I hope the stats are up to date live then, aren't they?
All right, Troy, what do you got for us?
Look, I'm going to go 24-18, 6 points. I think, as you said, Hayden Mitchell's goal kicking's been pretty on song all year. He'll get conversions left, right, and centre, touch line. 4 tries to... What's that? 3.
It could be 4. They could kick 1 goal.
Well, yeah, they could kick a couple of penalty goals. You don't know.
They could score 2 tries and kick 3 penalty goals.
Well,
they could get an 8-point try.
Could kick a couple of 2-point field goals as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, Will Penasini, I'm back on the bandwagon. Okay, Will. Bold prediction. I don't do too well in these ones. A bold prediction. Bold prediction. I've got nothing at the moment.
You had 51 minutes, mate. That's what you had.
Yeah. Oh, really? Thanks, Scoop. Bold
you want
prediction.
time off? Time off?
Yeah, time off. Yeah. HIA, Matty, come on.
Mate, you've had plenty of HIAs in your day, Troy. That's evident.
Yeah, I know.
All right, come on, give us something bold.
Yeah. All Parramatta's points in the first half. There you go.
Oh, that is. There we go.
That'll do, and then they'll hold on in the second half.
So pretty much the Sydney Swans from Saturday got a big lead, then
Roosters
almost
game.
choke.
Yeah, there you go. That's bold.
All right, Matt. Something to 12, but what else you got?
I got 35-12.
35-12.
35. I reckon Mitch is going to kick a field goal, and then obviously we'll go on way on with it, or just kick a field goal at the end just to rub salt into the wounds. I'm going to go a massive one for my first try. I'm going to go RCG.
I thought you were going to go Nathan Brown.
And my bold prediction is Bryce Cartwright will score a try. Telling you.
I'm telling
No.
you.
Telling you.
Is that at 31-12? He comes on and scores the last try.
Last
Yeah.
try.
Yeah.
Get on it. Last try scorer. Gamble responsibly.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks to the kind folks at Sportsbet who are not sponsoring us these days. But guys, that's all we've got time for. Which, hang on, Ray.
Oh, Ray's coming
Hey,
back.
hello, Ray. See you,
I
Hayden.
just wanted to wish the Parramatta team luck. Bit of luck.
Can you give me a why, Dominic? Why?
Why, Dominic? Why?
All right, everyone watches the wrestling. We'll get that. Anyway, get to
Let's
the.
have a safe trip up to Townsville. Enjoy Queensland Country Bank Stadium and the Australian. Was it hotel? Australian Arms Hotel? Is it? What is it? Which hotel are you going to, Adam?
All right. That's it. Once I said before, anyone up in Queensland, Townsville, come in the game. Australian Hotel, Beer Garden. Try and get there
Australian
early.
Hotel. There we go. Enjoy that.
And
Enjoy
everyone else
Queensland.
obviously try and get to the Leeds Club. If you can't get to the Leeds Club, Troy will post up his details for the Parra Cave later. And he wants to go to Parra Cave.
Absolutely. $50
heard
a ticket. You don't get anything for it. Just
Just
the
a
pleasure
donation.
of watching in the Parra Cave.
And if you could pay Troy in advance, if you want to come, if you can pay him $50 by tomorrow, he might actually not be at the Parra Cave.
I might be in Townsville. That many people will want to turn up, mate.
That's it. That's right.
All
New
right,
South Wales
go
Lottery's
Parra.
up.
Right,
This is
let's
it.
do this.
This is what we need.
Do
Biggest
it.
game since
One
29
win away from the
2009.
grand final.
That's it. Hopefully, we
go.
can see you guys next week for our, maybe last episode.